I literally can't believe I quit my job without having a backup plan. Like, that is not me at all. I quit my job 2 days ago and it still has not fully hit me that I no longer have a job. Like, this is so out of the blue for me too, because typically whenever I am done with a job, I'll find a new job. You know, I'll have a backup plan, apply for a lot of jobs, I'll get a job, and then from there I'll put in my 2 weeks, and then immediately after I finish a job, I'll continue on to the new one. So the fact that I just quit my job, and I quit my job in the middle of my shift, did not put 2 weeks, because you know what? They don't give you 2 weeks notice when they fire you. So why should I give a 2 weeks notice for quitting? You know what I mean? That was just my thought process at that point. And I'll get into that and like what led me to quit, but this is so freaking crazy. And again, it's been 2 days and I just feel I have so many emotions going through my head right now. But yeah, I just couldn't do it anymore, like physically, mentally, emotionally. It had completely destroyed my mental health, and at the end of the day, you have to put yourself first. You know what I mean? Like, you can't continue to let these jobs affect your life, especially when it's going into your personal life. Like, I would literally wake up in the morning, and even if I wasn't working, like if it was my day off, I was constantly thinking about my job and thinking about the fact that I had to go back to work in 2 days, or the fact that I would have anxiety before I went to work. Like, at that point, if it's getting that bad, it's time to move on. I know a lot of people don't have savings accounts. I luckily was able to just quit my job and not even care, because I have some sort of savings account. It's not like I have thousands of, millions of dollars in there, but I have enough to support myself for a couple of months. Worst case scenario, if I don't find a job, then I can depend on that. I'm gonna go ahead and start from the beginning, because of course every timeline has a story, and so does mine. So we're gonna go ahead and go right from the beginning, and then we can get into how I quit and all of that. But yeah, I hope y'all are ready, because I mean, it's not like there was any drama like with me and the supervisor or anything like that. It's just the job itself was very, very toxic, very toxic work environment. First got in this job, I was so freaking excited, because not only was I going to be taking advantage of all these benefits, but the fact that I was getting paid 2 to 3 times more than the previous job, that was just in itself such a motivational thing for me. Like, I know money isn't everything, but when you have money and you can really fund your life and truly not have to worry about, buying groceries or being able to spend a little extra. Like, I literally went all out on Christmas, and even being able to just splurge on things was like, I don't know, I was so grateful, obviously, and I'm gonna always be grateful for the things that this job brought me. But at the end of the day, that is no longer a part of my life anymore. This job was the first job that I actually had that, they provided PTO. Aside from PTO, like, you had vacation time, you had sick time, you had personal time. Like, this was the first job that I had all of that. And then we had something called flexing, so you could flex your schedule. I ended up having to work 1 to 10, just flex my schedule every day, and work 8 to 5. It was so great for me. I love the fact that we were able to do that. But with anything, eventually they took that away, and they started taking little things away. You could no longer do unpaid time off. You could no longer flex your schedule. VTO, which a lot of call centers have. VTO, it's basically like if there's time in between calls, they start to give hours, so you can leave early throughout the day, or if you don't want to work your shift, you can just request off that day. I also had like the work from home part of it. I actually enjoy working from home. I don't have to go out of my way to buy all these uniforms and business casual, or have to like wake up early just to go to work. Like, no, I don't have to deal with that. I could literally roll out of bed with my pajamas, with my heated blanket on my chair, and just work. And that was such a great thing for me. Like, I enjoyed working from home. And you work in a call center, especially if you're in like a sales type of job, you're gonna have to meet metrics. It was manageable. I was within the top 30% of the enterprise, which was really good. And they started to make it where you had to be in the top 30% to continue to work from home. So I was meeting the goals, doing what I had to do, and it wasn't a problem for me. But then at some point we ended up getting split away from our team. Like, my supervisor was no longer my supervisor. I think it was due to the fact that one of the supervisors in our roll-up, she ended up leaving to a different department in the company. So her entire team no longer had a supervisor. So our supervisor at the time ended up going to their team, and then we no longer had a supervisor, which meant instead of us getting a new supervisor, we just all got split up into different teams. So I ended up going with a new supervisor, which I don't have anything against him, of course. I really enjoyed his guidance and everything like that, and I told him that even when I quit. I think it was just like the whole work environment for me was just very, very toxic. And I don't even know if I should tell you guys what I did exactly. I'm not going to tell you guys the company that I work for because that's too much and I don't want them to come for me. So after they ended up splitting our teams, I feel like like I said, the work environment started to become very toxic because they started to really heavily look at us all the time. It was like you felt the managers breathing on your neck 24/7. If you went on break, why are you on break? Or like sometimes, you know, being a girl, you're gonna get your monthly, like, sorry, but your girl has her period. What am I supposed to say? You know, I'm fucking about to shit myself, like, or like, what if I'm about to throw up or something? Like, there were times that this job really caused a lot of stress because I worked in the cancellation department. So of course you're gonna get negativity from the start of your shift to the end of your shift, and you're gonna have people constantly telling you that they want to cancel their service, right? So like, imagine having to deal with that from the start of your shift to the end of your shift, and then having to basically go against that and having to upsell customers, having to add revenue to the account, having to save the customer and having them yell at you constantly, and having to be nosy and all up in their business. And like, me being me, an emotional person, it just really became too much. Like, at first I could deal with it, but like, I don't know if the customers just became very hostile, or just customer service in general is a hard job. Like, if you are not mentally able to deal with it, you're not gonna last, you know? Like, if you don't have thick skin, it's gonna be hard for you to continue to try and motivate yourself. And even with the type of job like this, you have to be motivating yourself. Like, you can't rely on your supervisors or your peers to motivate you 24/7, because it's like an independent type of job. But at the same time, like, you always have that thought in the back of your head that at the end of the day, your supervisor and your manager and like your entire company relies on how well you do with your performance. And yeah, like I said, being emotional, like, it really took a toll on me to the point where I was like literally reevaluating my life. Like, I thought at one point I had to admit myself into like a depression hospital. I don't know what they're, like a behavioral hospital, I think that's what you call them. It started at an all-time high, and then throughout the months it just started going downhill for me. And you know, with this job, you would have weekly coaching. So once a week you would go into a meeting with your supervisor, and they would basically pull calls, and you would have to literally listen to yourself and review each aspect of the call and how well you did, and what you could improve on. And like, I'm sorry, but I'm not one to want to listen to myself, especially having to like dissect everything. Like, I don't care. My mental health got so bad to the point where I started to consider using FMLA. And FMLA is something that you can use for any job. It basically protects you from being fired from a job due to like any sort of like mental health condition, or if you're like, for example, you have some sort of disease and you have to go to the hospital a lot, like you can use FMLA. Obviously it has to be approved by a doctor or like a primary care provider, but as long as you have FMLA, you can, you know, call into work and they can't fire you. You know, it's a government type of program. And I was literally considering using FMLA because I physically, mentally, emotionally could not get myself to work. Like, my anxiety attacks were getting so bad, and just my entire like just anxiety, depression, the stress levels were eating me alive. And I think it's been like the past 6-7 months that I've been telling my boyfriend, you know, I can't do this anymore. I don't know how long I can do this anymore. And you know, I'm somebody who, I'll give it my all. Like, I won't just quit a job. I'm not a quitter like that. I had to do this for myself because I've put myself on the back burner for this whole time. It's been almost 2 years at this job, and enough is enough. Like, I could not deal with it anymore. I couldn't. And you know, it's okay to give up on a job, but it's not okay to give up on yourself. After they started to take away all of the employee benefits, obviously we still had like health insurance and, you know, paid time off, but you couldn't use the other benefits, like being able to flex your schedule, to change it to accommodate your personal life. The one thing that really attracted me with this job was the work-life balance at first, but you know, slowly they started to take all of that away. I don't know if it's because people were abusing it or what the case may be, but it just wasn't benefiting a lot of people, and they started to fire a lot of people too. Like, I'm telling you, half of the people that worked there no longer worked there. It's just crazy to think about how quickly this went downhill, and I don't know where it went wrong. Like, honestly, even having the coachings with my supervisor, like, you can say so many times you have to work on your mental health, you know, and I could tell myself so many times too, like, I have to work on my mental health and I'll do better at this job. But that's not a good mentality to have when at the end of the day, it's not even your mental health, it's the job itself. Like, the job is what's wrong here. The job is the red flag. That's why you're not able to do better in your life. Like, if a job is not working for you, you're gonna see the signs. Like, stop ignoring the signs and do better for yourself. And that's what I kept pushing back. I kept pushing it back for the money. Money is always gonna come and go. Who fucking cares at the end of the day? You can't put money first before your mental health, because you're gonna end up like me, having to quit your job. I wasn't the only one feeling this. Like, I'm telling you, our whole team, even the supervisor, everybody in general was starting to feel it. And you know, I had to get out before anything worse happened. Like, I don't even know, maybe I would have had a heart attack. Even to this day, like the day that I actually quit, I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack. I'd been feeling like this for about like 6-7 months, like stuck and complacent. And the reason why I didn't find another job is because I felt like this job was providing, you know, they were providing the money, they were giving me the amount of money that I've never been able to attain this amount of money before. I was also scared too to quit my job because I didn't know what I was going to do after. I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't know if I wanted to go to school. I didn't know what other type of career to get into. Being an adult, you know, you have to pay for bills, you have all these responsibilities, so you can't just quit your job and expect, you know, everything to be okay. Obviously things are going to be okay, but it's just, that was always in the back of my head, that I had bills to pay and that I couldn't put all this stress on my boyfriend. Yeah, don't ever sacrifice your sanity and your mental health for a job. It's literally not worth it. I'm telling you right now, there are better things you could be doing with your life than spending it at a job that you don't like. There's always going to be somebody who has a similar situation as you, so don't feel like you're alone in this. There's so many people out in the universe that are quitting their jobs left and right because they feel the same way because of their mental health. And we literally have one life. And that's another thing that kind of drove me to quit my job too, was the fact that I have one life and I'm sitting here wasting it at a job that I don't care about. I was truly suffering. I'd rather make less money and be happy and be content and feel complete and feel at peace than be making all this money and still being miserable with myself. And there's a lot of people in situations like that. Like, you can even see celebrities nowadays, they have it all. They have the money, they have the cars, they have the luxury, but they're not happy with themselves. I feel like I should have done it sooner. Obviously things happen for a reason, but I was kind of waiting for the perfect timing. I was waiting for, you know, a job to be lined up for me. I was waiting to have a backup plan, when at the end of the day, things are not always going to happen the way that you think they're going to happen, and that's okay. Things happen for a reason. I'm just gonna, you know, have trust and faith in God himself. If you don't believe in God, you can believe in the universe or whatever it is that you believe in. You have to believe in something, but just have faith and know that everything's gonna be okay. It's not like you're gonna be suffering forever unless you make a change. Like, if you don't make a change and you're miserable at this job, then you're gonna continue to be miserable, but you have to put a stop to it at some point. Although I don't have a backup plan right now, like, it's only been 2 days, it still hasn't fully hit me that I've quit my job. Like, I literally, today is Sunday, it's Father's Day, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. Like, I'm not sitting here already have a job lined up. Like, yes, I've applied for jobs and I've also thought about going back to school, which is so crazy to be something that I say, and it's crazy to hear that come out of my mouth, because I've literally been preaching that I'm not going back to school, that school's not for me. But you know, I don't know, I've been really looking into different types of careers, and I might be going back to school. I don't know, who knows, we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated if I end up going back to school or what the case may be. Right now I'm just really focused on my mental health, focused on enjoying the process. I'm really grateful that I have a supportive partner. Just having that assurance from him that everything's gonna be okay makes me so happy, because honestly, when I told him that I was gonna quit, I literally started crying. I don't think I even told you guys how I quit. So, okay. When I quit, I was in the middle of my shift. I think it was like 3 p.m. or whatever, and my supervisor was like, oh, you know, once you're done with your break, go into coaching, which the coaching, I already explained to you guys what that is. You listen to a call and they dissect everything. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he was gonna write me up or something. I don't know, I was just over it. And you know, at first I was waiting for him to get back, but I just felt it. Like, I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack, and at that point I just chose to log off. I called in for the day, and then I started to literally have like an anxiety attack. I started to cry. My boyfriend was here at the time when I was like, when the whole ordeal was going on, and I had to wake him up and tell him, like, I cannot do this anymore. I'm really sorry. I hope you understand. Like, I feel really bad that I have to quit my job, but I literally can't do this anymore. Just literally in tears, bawling, and just knowing that he was okay with me doing that. Like, not that I need his reassurance obviously, but like, I also did, because you know, I was going to be making this split decision out of nowhere, and I just needed to know that things were going to be okay. And after that, I got like a message from my supervisor, and he was like, oh, what's going on, you know, I see that you logged off. And from there, it took me a couple hours to finally get back to him because I didn't know what to say. But yeah, I basically told him that I quit and that I appreciate his guidance and everything, but that I can't do this anymore and that I'll be dropping off my equipment tomorrow, and that's that. And he did try and call. It's not like I wasn't gonna answer, like I just couldn't mentally put myself in a position to have that type of confrontation, so I just didn't answer. All in all, so far these past 2 days, I've just been feeling so great, and like everything happened so quickly. I just wanted to get the equipment out of here so I no longer had to skid ever again. I returned my badge, and after that, usually when I quit a job, I kind of cry and feel bad. But like this time around, I just could care less. Like I'm telling you, there was no fucks left in me. And it really I feel bad saying that, but it's the truth. Like I just didn't care anymore. I just feel free. I no longer feel stuck. I feel like my mental health is already doing so much better within these past 2 days of not having to mentally deal with that job anymore. And yeah, I couldn't be happier, like honestly. But yeah, if you're in a position like me where I was 2 days ago, where you just feel like you want to quit your job but you feel stuck because of the adult responsibilities, or you just don't have a backup plan, like if you have some sort of savings account, again, obviously it's always ideal to have some sort of backup plan, but if you literally feel like this is it for you, like if you don't do it now, you just can't do it anymore, I'm telling you, just quit your fucking job. Like you can do better, and I'm telling you, it's not worth the amount of mental anxiety, stress, all of that. It's not worth any of that. No amount of money is worth sacrificing your mental health, and I guarantee you everything's gonna be okay. If that was pretty much it, I will definitely be keeping you guys updated on my journey of not having a job. A girl is officially jobless, and I don't know how I feel. Like the fact that I move in 2 months, not even, what day is it today? I move in like a month and a half, and I don't have a job, I don't have a backup plan, I still haven't packed, you know. I don't even know when the right time is to pack, but I should probably get to that, you know, because then I'm gonna be 2 weeks before and still have nothing packed like last time. Absolutely not. I'll definitely be keeping you guys updated on my journey, and if you did make it this far, I do want to thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.